Today, I want to talk about what is the best business model for rapid growth. I think a lot of small businesses are interested to know what that looks like. How do you get growth? How do you get it rapidly? And all kinds of different businesses in different industries, different markets have different business models. Part of having competitive advantage is having a different model than your competitor. So I'm kind of using this term business model loosely. This is not an academic term, in the traditional sense, but a sort of conceptual or maybe philosophical way of going about how you're growing your business. These are some things that came to mind as I was preparing.
Okay, let's hear it.
Some notes. I think that, I don't know if I could even rank these in priority, but I think probably the most important would be product market fit and making sure that is proven. We've talked about this kind of loosely on lots of different episodes of Expandable, but proving to some necessary degree that your product fits the market, that it's going to be adopted.
Well, to have rapid growth, it has to fit the market.
Right.
I would assume you've already
it seems
already
simple.
Had that product market fit before you.
I mean, it seems like a simple thing, but you would be surprised how many businesses I see that don't understand their audience, their market, their buyer. They don't really even understand their product and the value it brings. It's interesting at this point, because at first it was concerning, like, oh man, wow, how are you even in business? But now I have come to expect that I talk about business model a lot more on the front end with prospects than I do marketing or sales. Just kind of to one of our other conversations is I've started to see the signs where the client doesn't understand that they're not aligned with their market. And so we have to first talk about, when I will meet with them, I first want to put on the table, how does this fit with the buyer? What value does the buyer actually find? And if there's a problem there, then that has to be sorted before you can really start talking about growth, because you're going to be putting the cart before the horse when you're creating marketing campaigns and ads and messaging around something that is not in proper alignment. But whenever let me back up one step. There's lots of different business owners and entrepreneurs listening to this, coming from different perspectives. So you're buying a franchise, you're starting a company with a new concept. You are buying an existing business that is not a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different ways to get into having a business, starting a business, running a business. If you're buying a franchise, a lot of the work has been done for you. So for most
procedures and policies, you would think all of that would already be there.
And market fit, the adoption has been proven to a large degree because at least in the territories they've sold, if you look at the numbers and they're positive, they've done well.
But assuming they got product market fit, mm-hmm. and that you've got that, then how do you have rapid growth?
So I think that rapid growth comes with demand. And this is the job of marketing and branding, generating demand, capturing demand. This is marketing 2022 and beyond. I'd say the next decade plus is focused on the long-term view of building a brand. That's the sort of collective or cumulative capture of attention. The short term is doing the day-to-day, month-to-month work of capturing that attention or creating the attention, capturing the attention. So it's creating demand for your product in the market. So yes, there's a fit. If you've determined that there's a buyer or a set of buyers out there that have a need or a want in some cases, and there's a fit, now it's about increasing that level of demand. So the ones I like, the business I love working with is that they already have a lot of wind at their back, meaning the product market fit is so tight that if they do any work on demand gen, it's only going to create problems from a system standpoint.
Well, because when you say rapid growth, the thing that, immediately I default to is, okay, how much working capital do you have?
Right.
So can you support that additional ad spend,
right.
For that growth? Or can you support the additional employees that you need to go out and sell?
Right.
And then from there, how do you lead? Are you immediately delegating? Are you the face of it? Is it collaboration? And, for that rapid growth, once you are acquiring the customers, have you already built out your operations?
Right.
Who's maintaining it? Who's fulfilling the orders? Who's fulfilling the ongoing service?
Right.
So if you want rapid growth, if you already don't have those other employees sitting on the sidelines twiddling their thumbs, I think you're going to implode. Agreed.
Yeah. Rapid growth can happen and it can be sustained through systems. I mean, that's just the truth. If you don't have the systems in place on the back end to serve the customer properly and deliver, then you're going to fumble. So on the front end, it's about garnering attention and funneling that attention, but then it's about delivering on that attention and continuing to deliver on the trust that you're trying to build on the messaging you have on the front end, which is your brand.
Because if you're not delivering that, you better slow down your growth.
That's right. And also, something comes to mind, which is funny. I didn't think about this in my notes is rapid growth is not always what you should be going after. I think a lot of businesses are money, they're focused on the money, which is why you're in business. It's a good thing. But rapid growth is not always, shouldn't always be the goal, because you can fumble both internally, the company can fall apart, and externally with your customers and how they see you. From a lending standpoint,
if you don't have the working capital, if you don't have people in place, then you're not going to have sustainability of that rapid growth.
Yep.
And have seen it. So if you've got that demand and you've got people wanting to buy your product, you can't fulfill, what's the first thing you're going to do? People are going to complain. And then that could immediately turn your product, your service sour.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say working capital, which I agree. I would say, and maybe you're saying this as the same term, but cash flow is equally as important. Are you thinking about those in the same?
Yes. I mean, working capital, knowing the time frame it's coming in, depending on what you're selling. I mean, are you selling a product and then in net 2 days, you just accepted a credit card, net 2 days, you've got it.
Right.
But then again, if you're selling a product and you want rapid growth, you already have that inventory.
Right.
Well, you're going to have money in the inventory.
Then on services, it's about building up your team to deliver on the services. So you have to hire new people and train them and onboard them. And so there's a lot of cost there. That's almost like the service inventory where working capital is going to come into play there. But then knowing your numbers on the day-to-day, month-to-month, the cash flow, knowing, are you making money? Are you losing money? Yeah. What's happening with that free cash that's coming through?
I just had experience with a company. I think they're 10 years old is where I typically been buying like my protein supplements from. Company getting guys got it. YouTube, primary that I buy from is, whey protein. And I purchased from them instead of Amazon. It was cheaper and I purchased in bulk. Now you do have the cost of shipping, because, it wasn't already stored at Amazon where you got in 2 days. But because of bulk, it was cheaper. And I'd rather buy from them because I know they're going to, collect higher percentage of what they're selling to them. As a business owner, I figured, I would appreciate that if my customers are buying directly through me and my app.
Sure.
And because of the volume I was buying,
I
can do it from there. I'm buying it ahead of time. I'm not out. I get it in a week. Well, a week went by and I'm like, I got the FedEx tracking, nothing's moving on a Sunday. The next day, they responded and said, I forget FedEx, but shipment's lost. We have no idea. We're shipping you out a new one.
Wow.
They had to eat that cost.
Yeah. But they've got a customer.
And I got it now in 3 to 4 days
Yeah.
from that email that they responded today.
That's a tough business too. I mean, because
I'll continue to buy from them, but it was at the point where it was like, I want to pay that $2 extra and go through Amazon because, I'm not expecting 2-week turnaround. I mean, it was 5 days or something.
Yeah.
7 to 10 days, but it was going on. But, and that feedback, they didn't necessarily have an idea that it got delivered. I'm not sure if they've got, the immediate, the FedEx is sending back to them.
Yeah.
Every time it's delivered, they're tracking those days. I don't know, but things happen. But I was impressed at that follow-up. They did that real quick.
Well, I think that goes to that systematic approach. If you have systems built into your business to account for all the different logistical touch points and how your customer is served, or where they could drop off, then you're poised for rapid growth. You're poised for scalability. One other thing I would say too is starting slow. So depending on where you want rapid growth, you want more growth, and how do I get it? Maybe why you clicked on this video. You may want to take a step back and say, okay, do we have proper product market fit? Is there adoption? Do we know our ideal buyer? Do we have systems in place? Do we have a lot of this stuff in place that you can build a solid foundation from which to launch from? And then once you find what is working, you can scale what's working. That's really the best model for rapid growth is identify what's working, take the time, be patient, kind of try to remove the pressures that you might have from internally or externally from, stakeholders, whatever stakeholders those may be. They may be investors, they may be lenders, they may be current C-suite leaders, board of directors, whatever the pressures make, try to put those at bay, which is going to go to my last thought here. Put those at bay and cast a vision of where you're headed, and then slow down, get all of your ducks in a row, and then you can launch, you can scale up what's working.
Yeah.
And the last thing I was going to say is having a long-range vision helps to keep all of the stakeholders who might provide pressure in one form or another at bay. It helps for everyone to be on the same page. I was listening to a podcast yesterday about venture capitalists, startups, and it's a fascinating world just to peer into. But a VC is talking about the relationship between a founder and their VC, and saying, it's funny, like they break it down like it's some new concept, but it's just being a professional human. Right? Like, how do you make your VC happy as a founder? It's communicating, it's having a plan, it's sticking by that plan as much as you can, and communicating when you get off the plan. It's just managing the money that they've given you and communicating that back to your VC. And they were talking about it in context to a lot of, bridge rounds or
being honest and transparent is what I heard.
Yeah. And they're talking about it in context of saying, a lot of things are shifting and changing in the market. So we need more money to continue, operating or growing. And they'll go back to the VC and say, well, I thought we had 12 months runway, but we only have 3. And it's like, well, that's a red flag from the VCs. Simply said, well, you don't really know how to run your business because you're not staying on top of it.
Oh yeah.
So I don't have the confidence to put more money in long term. But you're not fulfilling really the duty.
And at that point, when you don't follow through, now the VC's in control of you.
That's right. And they lose confidence in their investment, which I think is not a good road to go down. But I think having a long range vision helps to satisfy a lot of those things, because if you're operating by that vision, and then you start to put that in play in a plan, and all the people that are on board with the plan are on board with the vision, it all trickles downhill. If that vision is cast in a way that promotes a healthy paced growth, and that provides, an output, a reward for those parties that are included, everybody's going to be on board with that.
Yeah.
If you go for rapid growth and try to hack growth, you try to cut corners for the sake of rapid growth, it's generally not going to play out. It does work sometimes, but
I mean, still, I don't know if I'd be a great VC. I feel like at least in the banking and fintech world, I've got a good idea of what's going to work and whether it's going. But it's just amazing that, a company said, I got 18 months of runway. If your business can't sustain the future cash flows of that, to me, it's not a damn business.
No, you're right. Well, it goes back to market fit.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
mean,
there.
you've been along 5 years and you've kept on investing. At some point, you think you're going to turn a profit? I mean, give me a break.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I 100% agree. It goes back to the fundamentals of, are you even a business? Or do you even have a product that people want to buy?
Yeah. To me, then all I would be doing is investing and giving the employees a paycheck for a service that is not sustainable.
Yeah. So to summarize, it's, do you have a product that people want to buy? Can you create more demand for it because it's adopted? And is there a long range vision applied to those two components? That I think can make up a really good kind of quote unquote model for rapid growth. But rapid growth doesn't happen day one, unless you have such a great product market fit. I'm trying to think. There's this.
You got to have the working capital, and you got to have the future cash.
There are some products. I'm thinking of one that I won't mention, but like there's, just because I don't want to, provide the wrong context, but there are some products and services that have such a great adoption by the market that when a business comes along and does it well, the wind is at their back immediately. They don't have to do so much work to generate demand. There are some businesses that they're a viable product in the market. People are there showing up, and you have to do a lot of work to create demand. But those that have the wind at their back, you are automatically in a situation, an environment that can scale because it's working. More so than if you're all I'm saying is you go back to the fundamentals. Yeah. The fundamentals. You have a product that works. Build systems around it, build teams around it, scale it. Gotcha. If you don't, then you may want to either think about getting a different business, or if you want rapid growth and you're in the wrong market, you're going to be hurt.
Are you going LinkedIn and you start like half the people on LinkedIn that are promoting themselves while they're being paid by another employer?
Yeah, right.
And how wonderful that they're looking for a work-life balance.
Yeah, they got to watch their messaging on that.
Yeah. All right.